So if you're expecting some good news, this is not going to be the episode for you. So you can just go head out right now. But the reason for why you should stay is because we're about to put you on as to what is going to happen in the next 2-3 years and why you need to protect yourself, because you might actually end up losing over $100,000 if you don't protect yourself. So, bro, let's just break down exactly what's going on in the world, bro, and why we're making this episode.
Bro, I mean, listen, like you said, man, it's not too much good news going on around the world. Just look at it. You got Israel and Palestine going crazy right now. It doesn't seem like there's a viable solution on the table. Like a lot of people are saying there's no real solution that allows both sides to benefit. Therefore, that war might be prolonged and other countries may get involved, and it's just kind of a lot spurring up geopolitically. Not to mention we have Russia and Ukraine that's still going on, and that's another war that doesn't really seem to be an end, and there needs to be a resolution soon, or in the US being involved in both situations is not good either.
Yep.
And so geopolitically it's just not looking hot. You got inflation has not really been cured. It's actually been on an uptick again, and everybody in the mama can see that, bro. Everything is unaffordable right now, right? Like, I don't care what it is. Even gas is high again. Everything is not looking good as far as affordability. And speaking of affordability, you see what's behind me, right? These houses is behind me because nobody can afford it. All right. The people that lived in these houses behind me, they still live there because everybody's staying put, because most borrowers are still under lower interest rates than what's currently on the market right now, because interest rates are at highs that we haven't seen in years. And so no one wants to leave. Supply is low. House prices are still rising. And it's like, bro, what are the wealth builders right now? Because look at the stock market. The stock market just traded right by all-time highs. It's coming right back down. We're now in a correction, potentially headed back to a bear market again. You just in one last year. Need I go on? I could keep going. Like it's more things. Like everything is not good, bro.
That is, I've just paid almost $8.35 for a bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm from New York. I never will ever pay that. I had to leave. I was like, I'm not paying this. I refuse. As a local New Yorker, I will never pay $8.35 for a bacon, egg, and cheese. That's absolutely wild to me. So no, it's wild. And the reason why we started the episode like this, and if you haven't left already, good job. Make sure you like the video. But the reason why we started like this is because we want to set the stage for you guys for what we're about to talk about. And also, we're going to tell you how you could avoid actually losing all this money, but you have to have the right mentality. So let's just get right into it, bro. The first thing that we really want to share with you guys is this, right? Let's just talk about it for what it is. The average house price in the United States right now is $416,000. Like, let's talk about that. Why is that so significant, right? Because initially people used to talk about, well, like real estate is a way to building wealth. You have to get real estate to build wealth. But let's just talk about it, bro. The average sales price of houses sold in the United States, this is the average, uptick. Like, it just goes up and up and up. Obviously, the gray/silver things you see is a recession time period. So yes, we saw the housing market come back in 2008. It went up, up, up. This little thing that you might not even be able to see is that 2020 COVID crash that everyone's happened and everyone talked about. Before 2020, 2019, what does that say, bro? Like 384 some change?
Yeah.
That's average sales price. It went up in just 3 years to 503. Where did that ever happen before? This right here is from 2002 to 2007. That's 5 years.
Right.
And then it went down. This, it went up, barely went down.
Yeah.
So it's just not there right now. Like, people cannot afford a home. And how do we know that? Because housing affordability is now at the lowest level in the history. This came out in March of 2023. Guess what, guys? Interest rates went up since then. So it's even less affordable than it was in March. So, Rel, what do you think about that?
Now, it's frustrating because it's like everything that we were taught, especially as millennials, everything we were taught coming up on ways to build wealth. It's like these things are deteriorating right in front of our eyes. Like, I used to read books. I know you used to read books. We used to read books about these things where they're talking about, hey, get in $100,000 home. You could put down $20,000 and, get gut work done on it. And, all these strategies. And it's like, bro, there's no more $100,000 homes, man. Like, those things, if they're around, like, they're in areas that are just not desirable.
I'm going to tell you right now, look, Midwest is where everyone used to talk about, right? This is live. We're doing this in front of you guys. Live. Bro, look at this. Are people able to pay this much?
300K for
303, 310, 298. Like that's the Midwest we're talking about. This was
yeah.
not what you saw in 2015 or in 2018 even. Now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because it's like that. Like I said, that is exactly what we were supposed to do in order to build wealth. You can get into these things cheap. That's how a lot of the people that made those courses and wrote those books got into the market right after the bear market in 2008, 2009, right? And then they were able to pick up houses for cheap. And then they wrote books based on the strategies they used, but it was entirely different. Like we don't have that same opportunity right now. Like us starting a real estate empire in this time period, you're not finding, bro. It's the barrier to entry is so high right now that like, bro, you can't build wealth the same way.
And that's the thing. Like people used to talk about, yo, let's take our stock market money and pull it out and then invest in real estate. We'll put 20, 30% down. If we have 200K invested, we can put that down. Well, now because of interest rates, because of closing costs, you guys with 200K are probably honestly buying 2 properties, which is insane. It's just insane. And those properties might need work done. So you have to take an additional loan. So let's talk about that. So we covered housing market. Let's move on to next. So Rel, if I asked you, what is another profitable thing that usually people would do when they're trying to build wealth, right? Like what are some quick ways that people usually say, oh, you know, it's real estate, it's stock market, and then it's usually what, businesses?
Yeah, definitely say open up a business, start a business.
All right, let's talk about that. The average business loan, because remember, to start a business, unless you have capital, you got to take out loans. And we know how that works. So let's look at loan rates in 2023. The average business loan interest rate goes from 6% to 45% depending on the type of loan and the lender. Small Business Loan Administration, right? The Small Business Administration loans offer low interest rates to many types of business owners, including startups and bad credit borrowers. So we just talked about it, from 6 to 25%. It's a pretty wide range. Like you see bank business loans like from 5 to 12, online business loans 7 to 60 plus, business credit, etc., etc. So you guys might be looking at this and being like, oh, like it's not too bad, right, bro?
Yeah, it's not that. It's all terrible.
Now let's compare it to historically what it used to be, bro. Historically, we used to see, this is 2023, 10-year interest rates, right? Look at 2022. That's like 3%. Over a year, you see 6%, so doubled.
Yeah.
In 2022, 2021, you saw 2%. So
that's crazy.
Yo, the opportunities that we used to see, they're just not there anymore. Like,
go
ahead.
Now I was gonna say, go back to the other tab real quick. That you were just on, and then scroll a little bit to the top where you started at. All right, so right there, key takeaways. If you see in the third bullet, it says factors that can affect the interest rate includes the Federal Reserve's federal funds rate. And so, as we know, like Newski was mentioning earlier in the episode, they've continuously been raising rates and they've been adamant about keeping rates higher for longer. So those business loan that the business loan rates that Newski is talking about, those things are not coming down anytime soon. So that wealth building opportunity is now pretty much diminished, or not. If it's not diminished, it's just a lot harder to make it because people can't even get loans properly. And then not to mention, what did these higher rates do when it comes to smaller banks? Because anybody who's in that field of entrepreneurship knows that you can actually typically get friendlier rates.
Just call it what it is. You get better rates.
Yeah, you get better rates, and they're more willing to give you loans in the first place from smaller banks, regional banks, and credit unions, etc. Well, the higher rates that the Federal Reserve has is actually killing those same banks. That's why we saw things like Silicon Valley Bank go under and a bunch of other regional banks go under. And actually, even up to last week, there was more turmoil in the regional bank area to where you're starting to see bank failures continue. And actually, it's actually affecting bigger banks too now. So people thought that it was just only regional banks, but we've seen even trouble with Bank of America recently when it comes to how these higher rates are affecting them. So now it's like, now everybody is at a place where they're not really going to be getting bank loans like that, because if the banks are struggling, they're not lending to just anybody. If they're going to they're going to lend somebody a loan, they're going to make sure they're super reliable, and they're going to make sure that they're putting on a high interest rate, because they don't want to take any more risks, because they're already under fire. So they can't take crazy risks. So you as an entrepreneur, upcoming entrepreneur, you can't get loans properly, therefore you can't expand, and there's another wealth building opportunity.
Yeah, because exactly. Thank you. That's the key. So real estate out so far. You look at businesses, unless you have a really profitable business already, or you have a great idea where you have a competitive advantage in, it's gonna be hard to get started. Because to get started, you need loans. As Rel just said, that's no go. So now let's think about it. What else we got? We got real estate. We got businesses. Oh, invest. Yes, invest. You're gonna make a lot of money investing. It's an investing channel show. Let's talk about the darlings of the market that people used to talk about. Palantir, a whopping $14. It used to be $35. So not only did you lose 50%, you lost more. Congrats. Let's move on to the next one. Shopify. It used to be 160 plus. Now it's $46. Once again, whopping 50%. You go down to PayPal. Mind you, it was $280 in the last 5 years. Not 1 year, 5 years. You're down nearly 40%. S&P market goes up average of 10% a year. You're down an average of 8%. Congrats, you played yourself. And mind you, we're not making fun of you guys. We learned ourselves, because here's the biggest joke. Square at $39. Are we still in it? No, we sold out of it a while ago. But if you look at it, 300 plus. Bro, what? Now you're 39.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Like, let's just really break it down for you guys. Like, the reason why we're talking about this is because when you think about it, you guys all want quick money. It's just not a thing anymore. And over the last 3 years, we've experienced highs, lows, highs again, near all time, now lows. So it's like we're in a cycle of unpredictability. All the experts who are saying something's gonna happen, they've been wrong. And we're not saying we're experts, but at the end of the day, you guys have to preserve your capital. So let's move on to now, Rel. What should they really be doing?
What should they really be doing? I mean, first of all, you have to still invest long term. So even though the stock market right now is moving sideways, because like Nusi said, we went up, down, up, and then we're back down. We just hit correction territory up to last Friday. Well, it doesn't mean that you have to just abandon the stock market. There's still a long-term wealth building opportunity there. But I would say in the short term, if you want to get rich, quote unquote, now it's not really much out there. But I would say, honestly, find a business that you have a niche in. Find a business that you could scale without needing necessarily bank loans like that. You have to build a skill set that allows you to profit without depending on bank rates. And if you could find something like that, whether it's teaching somebody something or a group of people something, or selling a product that doesn't necessarily need much investment capital, something you could find in abundance. I mean, those are pretty much the only ways, because the stock market right now, you've seen the companies people wanted to get rich quick on, Palantir, Square, et cetera, the thing we just talked about, all of those got killed. The only stocks that's really up is the Magnificent Seven. We talked about the Magnificent Seven last episode, but that's your Nvidias, your Microsofts, your Apples, et cetera. Those 7 companies are the only things that were up. And the rest of the stock market, look at the charts. A lot of them never really went that far. This year, well, we watched the SP 500 get really close to all-time high. And then it just dropped right after that. When it was at all-time highs, right by all-time highs, you have to look at all the other stocks absent of the Magnificent Seven. Right. The rest of the stock market didn't climb with the SP 500. The SP 500 only went up because of 7 stocks. So now that they're starting to roll over, it's not looking good for the stock market.
And that's why we're trying to say, like, guys, like, the reason why you have to protect yourself, and during these, like, look, everyone wants to get rich quick. And the only way to get rich quick is either you find the next darling and you invest in it and you run it up, which is great. I want that for all you guys. Chances are that's not going to happen, though. So you have to be ready for opportunities when they present themselves. In 2008, people bought real estate. They had the opportunity to buy real estate, which is why they did. They had the liquid cash. So you have to have liquid cash. If you are up in the stocks that you're invested in, even if it's a little bit, 15, 20%, doesn't matter. I would personally think about taking that off the table and preserving your capital. If you're down, why are you down in companies that you've been down 50% in? Get out of those companies. We clearly ran up. Why are you guys still invested in them? It doesn't make sense. So between Rel and I think we're both on the same page, bro. Tell me if you agree, but it's like y'all should really be thinking of taking your capital, putting it in a high yield savings account, investing in safe, credible ETFs over the long period of time, and having that opportunity for the right time, right? If you see something where something is low in 2004, in 2024, 2025, you should have money to invest in those opportunities. If you don't, you're gonna end up in the cemetery because you're dead.
This guy, and it's crazy because everybody always prays for a recession or a depression because like, oh, I would, man, if I had the '08 opportunity, I would be rich right now. Well, guess what? Right now, we just watched everything run all the way to all-time highs after COVID. And then now they've kind of been stagnant on a high level. The next opportunity that's going to come, it's going to come and you're going to be blindsided by it because soon things will crumble. Things can't stay up forever, right? So some things are going to eventually roll over. Will you have cash to take advantage? That's what Newsie's getting at. And you need to make sure you do have cash to take advantage. So when things are high, that's when you take profits. And when things come back down, that's when you take advantage. Simple formula.
Yeah. So that's basically what it comes down to, guys. Like, we want to make this for you guys to be aware of what's going on. That's in our eyes and in our world, that's exactly what we're doing. We're investing in ETFs, we're taking gains off the table, and we're making sure our capital is in a high yield savings account. That's what it comes down to. So we want to make sure you guys are good, you guys have this information, and you guys are protected. But if you're still watching, thank you. We appreciate you. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
And you do not want to miss them. Also, I really want to say this is the episode that you should actually share with people because if you care about them, definitely share it and make sure they are on game. But we will check you out on Wednesday. Until then, peace.
Peace.